like the whole trip thing kind of threw me off. Okay, so we have Rutvik Choudhary. I probably pronounced that terribly. I'm sorry. Rutvik Choudhary. I don't know. Bricks from the Wall. It's a finished release. It's a house track. Ooh, we got some house. A house track
from Pink Floyd.
I made by sampling Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. Classic. Inspired by Thomas Bongalter's Spinal Scratch. Is that Daft Punk?
I don't know.
I think Bongalter is from Daft Punk, one of the guys.
Oh, cool.
So, I mean, I'm excited. I love all those things. So this is Bricks from the Wall. I'm going to do theater mode. That should...
Yeah.
Okay. Bricks from the Wall by Rutvik. Here we go.
Let's hear it.
We don't have any click track or count in the can, Jane. Mind you, it would be nice to have some musical accompaniment to this.
I like the video.
Nice. Here we go. Coming back. Or not. Oh,
I like that little... It's like a glitchy.
yeah.
I need more oomph though.
Yeah, I agree. Where's the bass?
Yeah.
Where's the bass, though?
It's like you need that vocal. Bring in the bass. Bring in the bass.
Yeah.
Feeling a little repetitive here.
Cool little variations.
Right. It's mostly the same kind of sequence though.
Right.
Like Another Brick from the Wall has a lot of stuff to pick from.
That's a lot of bricks, man.
Yeah. Take some more bricks, you know?
Take some more bricks.
Okay. Cool.
Wow.
That's Bricks from the Wall, Rutvik. Oops.
Oh, Boy Ponders here.
Oh, shit.
Saying, wish there was more progression than just chop changes. Yeah. I
Yeah,
agree.
for sure. What's up, boy P? Nice
What's
to see you,
up?
bro. Thank you for tuning in. Love you, bro. I'll get you that video soon. Anyways, Vibes. The overall vibes that I'm gonna go with first. It was mixed like it was an intro to a house song.
Yes.
like,
Yes.
like I needed more oomph, man.
Yeah.
And I
yeah.
think Josh especially could probably help you in that department, being his music technology background. But yeah, I just think the overall vibe. So you described, French House, Thomas Bangalter, Daft Punk. It definitely has that vibe to it. Like, they loved guitar samples like that. It's pretty repetitive, but it's a house song. I agree with Boy Ponder that I would like something different. Like, I could tell it was the same sample, but it was just like cut in different places and put in rhythmically different places, and that worked for maybe like the first minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But like after a while, I was just like waiting for a change up, waiting for a bridge, some sort of variation
Some
instead
relief.
yeah, for sure, some build up into like
Yeah.
like I
Where's the
legitimately,
oomph?
legitimately, I thought this was like a intro, the way it was mixed for like the first minute, and I was like, oh, okay, it's just how.
Yeah. Where's the drop?
Yeah, we need the bass. So that's the overall vibe from it. Josh, what do you think?
Well, at odds 69 said this needs some refs for gain staging for sure. I think probably reference
Yep.
like reference tracks.
Yep.
There
Referees.
needs to be low end presence of a kick at least audible over the rest. Yeah. So same thing. Like
Agreed.
the biggest glaring hole is that there's no like low end presence
Yeah.
like that would at least come in at some point.
No oomph in
So,
the bass. No bass
Dude,
line.
I love this shit. Like the beginning, it's like, yeah, that's a cool way to chop up that sample. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't exactly the same like exact chop each time. It was just very slightly different,
Right.
which was appreciated.
I meant the sample itself, though.
Yeah, right.
It was
of
the same
course, it was the focal point of the whole thing, and it was
Yeah.
throughout the whole thing, and yeah, way too repetitive. Just too much of. Even if you're doing minor little variations, like that's great, but that needs to exist with some major variations happening to like the bass or just the whole sound for like a chorus and a verse or something. Anything to give us some oomph, some drop, some low end. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah, and I think that's like everybody that's listening and commenting along is saying the same thing. So how can we do that? If you were a producer on this, how would you change it?
Add some fucking bass.
Yeah, add some fucking bass.
Add
First of
like
all,
a legit kick drum that
it's probably like compression and limiting as well, right? Like what Adod said is gain staging.
Yeah, some could be, but I mean,
like take a reference track, and then put it to like your stereo output in your DAW, and then like a Thomas Bangalter track, and then take your track and then route it to your mastering track or whatever limiter, and then you'll be able to like solo one and then solo the other. That's how you can like check. Gain staging means just
Right.
like making sure that the overall volume and like what it sounds, how loud it sounds is the same, because that's super important for house. Because if you're a DJ and you're trying to change from one song to another and the other song is super quiet, that's like, no, you got to keep it the same level.
Yeah, then everybody leaves the dance floor.
Exactly. Yeah. Or they think it's a 4-minute intro, like I thought,
Right.
So
right.
I think that's a little tip you can take from there. Just like put a reference track, take a Daft Punk song, because I think that's the vibe you're trying to go for, and then just see like, oh, my track, doesn't have as much oomph, doesn't have much bass to it. And then you could be like, okay, I need to add either a kick drum that has that presence in it. To me, it sounds like there was no compression at all. That you want to be able to keep the transient in, but then boost everything else. Maybe like the subtail of that kick sample that could come up as well. That's kind of like in the later past the transient. But I think that's the biggest kind of tip that I could offer. What do you think?
I think there was probably some compression. I don't think it's just gain. I think it's probably just like there was not a sample in that whole mix that had the low end. I don't know. It's possible that there's some aggressive low filtering that happened somewhere, but it sounds to me more like that there was a bass in there, but it didn't have much low end. And it sounds to me like it was just a sample of a bass that didn't have much low end. There's uses for that.
Yeah.
But you need to have a foundation for the mix. You need to have something that everything sits on, something that keeps things moving along and changes the overall energy level. Because like that band passing effect that we sort of heard on the whole thing, because there was no low end really, it can be useful, but it needs to be contrasted with the opposite. So if you have that, that's why it's so powerful to have a sort of band pass like rise up to a drop.
Yeah.
Because then there's the big contrast of when the bass comes in, it's like it opens everything up. So that's cool. You just need to add some stuff onto it. But yeah, I would say, like, did we go through the ratings?
Oh yeah, shit. I mean, we just kind of dived that in. So vibes. I mean, yeah, I think you nailed it with French House and Thomas Bangalter. I think it's definitely there. Vibes, I think, is a green. Content, like I said, I got bored with the same old sample. Like sequence, like not sequence, the sample itself. It was like the same thing, and it was just chopped rhythmically in different ways. And after like 2 minutes, I wanted something else. I wanted like a break from it.
And a lot of those chops were only like a bar or two, and so that many repetitions is like, whoa, like repetition overload.
And Daft Punk, and I'm not sure about Thomas's solo stuff, but Daft Punk is pretty repetitive, and I think this was like a step over what they usually do.
It's like the repetition needs to, when you sequence all of that repetition together, it needs to form a solid groove.
Yeah.
Right? And if the repetition is, say, too short or doesn't have like sort of a groove within itself, then a chain of those is not going to be too appealing either. So like repetition, it's not the amount of repetition, it's what does the repetition contain? Because like you can repeat like the sound of a truck crashing 80 times and that sounds like shit, but like you can repeat the same amount of audio with a really cool groove that locks together with repetitions well and then keeps the listener engaged.
Yeah. You need to get that one groove, that 4-bar loop that just hits. And
exactly.
For us, it was like, where's the boom?
Where's the boom?
Where's the bass?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Boy Ponder says the idea was totally there, but it felt like it was just an idea, not an application of itself. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, the idea is cool.
Yeah, the idea, like, Bricks from the Wall, the sample was cool. The chops, they were cool, but just, a little less repetitive on what we think, in our opinion. And there's just no boom. Like, if you're making a house song, it needs to be boomy, It
needs to raise the roof of the house.
For sure. So I think production-wise, I would probably say it's a red to yellow for me because, yeah, I couldn't give this to a DJ,
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I think. I think overall vibes, I think it's definitely a develop. Maybe even orange. I'll say between red and yellow. But yeah, I think you have good taste. I think for sure.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm impressed with the way that you like. I know that you did a lot of different variations of that chop on that same sample, and that was cool. They're sort of like too small scale to make a big difference to the overall feel of variation. Yeah, in the track. But yeah, the vibe, like I love the idea of combining those things, and at the beginning I was super psyched because I think it works together well.
Yeah,
I can envision it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'd definitely give the vibes a solid yellow because it's like it's on the way to being really cool. Then we've got content, and this, I mean, content is the arrangement and what the song is made of, and that needs probably a redo. Just need to add some stuff to that.
Yeah.
And then for production, again, like you need bass. Like use reference tracks. It's a great tip. Just reference stuff that you like. Does it sound similar? Does it sound super different? Does it sound like it doesn't have the sort of foundation of the stuff that you really like? And then go from there and add things in.
At Odd said something in the chat. I was reading it and I also noticed that he spelled something wrong and he said terrible spelling. Dude, at Odds, you're on it. So he says, some of my favorite techno is 8 minutes of a single modulating loop. It has to be full sounding and satisfying to sustain repetition.
Right.
Yeah, because that's what you're doing in the club, man. You're just fucking vibing out, dancing to this. Yeah, like, what's up, baby? Like that kind of shit. And you need that to vibe out. And if it's not there, then we're listening to 3 minutes of something that, the first 4 seconds we could say that we wanted more. So the purpose of repetition, I guessing is what he's saying, and dance music is to appeal to brain inebriated by certain things that are drugs. Yeah. So that's a good tip at Odds.
The brain just wants certain things and we can't really say why, but you just gotta, ask other people if their brain feels those things.
Take DMT before you go to club. All right. Anyways, did you give your overall rating?
Yeah, my overall would be between redo and develop. There's like parts
orange
in there that can be developed, but I would say orange.
Yeah, I agree.
Orange.
And actually, Rutvik also sent us another song. So
yeah, we've got
he says a very short but hopefully